It was meant to be just another fiery day in Parliament, a day of the usual do's and don'ts of incendiary spats, sharp questions, and practice speeches. South Africans have come to expect all that drama, the shouting tantrums, and the walkouts that fill the headlines, but do nothing to alter their day-to-day lives. But what happened this week departed from that script of predictability. Helen Zille, Old Politic and Democratic Alliance big gun, mounted the platform and gave a speech that has since gone viral in all the farthest reaches of the internet. It was not another opposition rebuke or another well-rehearsed political insult. It was a raw, uncut and unabashed assault on President Cyril Ramaphosa's leadership. An attack that left even her detractors speechless. With surgical accuracy, Zille took apart what she characterized as the myth of Ramaphosa, the reformer. The president has for years been marketed as a consolidator, a statesman attempting to save the ANC from corruption and restore South Africa's international reputation. But Zille tore apart that tale, blaming him for overseeing an administration marred by corruption, misrule, and selective accountability. And then she unleashed the bombshell that became historic in an instant. If justice is to be more than a word in this nation, Sir Ramaphosa needs to be arrested and held accountable like any other South African. As soon as she spoke it, the mood within Parliament changed. Gas circulated through the House. MPs slammed their desks in protest while others sat forward shocked. Reporters rode furiously. Even cynics following politics knew they were witnessing history. Within minutes of Zille's speech hitting the airwaves, clips began flooding social media platforms. On X, her name shot to the top of trending topics. Facebook groups circulated the speech in full, calling her brave and unflinching. WhatsApp groups buzzed with forwarded clips, sparking debates among families, co-workers, and communities. TikTok creators chopped up her words into viral edits, overlaying them with dramatic music and captions like, "She said what we all thinking." For his supporters, this was overdue. A leader finally speaking what many have quietly spoken in private over months, even years. For them, the demand for the arrest of Ramaphosa wasn't political show. It was a justified call for accountability, an affirmation that no one, neither the president nor anyone else, should be above the law. But the virality of Zille's words was not so much about their meaning. It was about timing. South Africans are tired. They are subjected to daily electricity cuts, high food prices, high levels of unemployment, and a government that seems more concerned with fighting among itself than actually governing the country. Confidence in state institutions is at record lows. Zille's speech did not only denounce a president, it fueled a fire that was already burning. And if you thought the ANC was just going to brush this aside, think again. The speech didn't just ruffle the ego of the ruling party, but laid bare its most fundamental weaknesses. Some ANC MPs were quick to go into spin mode, dismissing her remarks as mindless political opportunism. Others charged that she was attempting to destabilize the nation. But behind closed doors, insiders indicate that some in the ANC conceded that her allegations came perilously close to the mark. Behind closed doors, top ANC leaders scrambled to gauge the repercussions. The optics were awful. Here was Zille, an experienced political leader, articulating with passion and dominating the country's airwaves, and the president himself is notably mum. Frustration has even been simmering within ANC ranks. Younger reformist elements murmur of their disappointment at the party's refusal or inability to tackle corruption boldly. Zille's defined statement might have provided them with the impetus they needed to begin breaking ranks more overtly. What makes this point particularly dangerous for the ANC is not only Zille's words, but the response they have elicited. Nationwide, her supporters are organizing. Protests, petitions, and mass demonstrations are being called for on social media. Pressure groups have initiated hashtags calling for Ramaphosa to be arrested, threatening to bring the battle to Parliament's doorsteps. Public opinion is moving from anger to revolt. South Africans have grumbled about their government in private and on social media for years. Now they are bringing their wrath into the streets. And once public anger coalesces into organized protest, the political landscape can change overnight. The most dramatic aspect of this evolving drama, though, is Ramaphosa's response or lack thereof. Weeks have passed since Zille's speech went viral, but the president has not uttered a word. No press conference, no public address, not even a considered tweet from his press office. This silence is becoming expensive. To his critics, it is proof that he has no alibi. To his supporters, it's increasingly difficult to explain. And to the undecided public, it appears less like wisdom and more like timidity. In politics, silence is sometimes a strategy, but it can be a trap as well. By not saying anything in response to Zille's claims, Ramaphosa runs the risk that her words will become cemented in the public mind as reality. Without his voice, hers is the one heard. The ripple effects are beginning to spread. Opposition parties are jumping at the opportunity, ready to cite those words during future debates. The media keeps running with the speech, dissecting each word. Civil society organizations are calling for explanations. And with each day of presidential silence, the weight of pressure mounts. If Ramaphosa does answer at all, he must not do so with empty platitudes or brush-offs. The people need specifics, clear explanations, believable promises, and actual accountability. Anything short of that will only fuel the rage already running rampant throughout the nation. Helen's incendiary speech is already being hailed as one of the most important political speeches of the year. One may not agree with her, but nobody can deny that she has struck a chord. That something deep and elemental has been awakened. A hunger for accountability that cuts across party lines. She has drawn a line in the sand and made the country confront its president anew. And it is this that makes the moment historical. Those words were not only for Ramaphosa. They were for the system, for decades of corruption, for broken promises and unrealized dreams. They hit at the core of a question every South African has grappled with. Does justice come for everyone or just for some? For the common folk, the speech distilled their grievances into one call: equality before the law. And once such a call is let loose, it is almost impossible to bottle up. What is to come next is unclear. Will Ramaphosa finally break his silence and fight back? Will the ANC unite behind him, or will divisions within the party grow into open rebellion? Will the protest gathering force online translate into street action and become the next defining chapter of South African history?